Hello, today I'm going to dive into the world of trim tabs to discuss what are trim tabs, how they work, and how you should use them when navigating on your boat. Now, before we jump into exactly how to use the trim tabs, let's first go over what are trim tabs. Trim tabs are hinge plates made of stainless steel or aluminum that are controlled by a motor, and they can lower the port or starboard side of the bow or both sides of the bow. Trim tabs are usually controlled by a switch on the dash where you can press to lower or raise their respective trim tab to adjust the height of the bow or level off the boat. Trim tabs work by changing the flow of water coming off the stern of the boat to lower the bow of the vessel on either side or on both sides of the vessel. Now, one quick call out for you to know about the trim tabs is that the trim tabs need to have a lot of flow of water running underneath the stern of the boat for it to be able to adjust the level of the bow. So meaning that if you're navigating and you're idling out of the channel, there's not enough flow of water under the trim tab to be able to adjust the height of the bow on the boat. So keep that in mind when you're navigating. Another important thing is for you to understand how the trim tabs are actually wired on the boat. And this is going to help you understand how to use them and then how to troubleshoot them when they're not working. So in this diagram, you can have a good visual of how the trim tabs are wired. You have the controller on the dash of your boat, and then the button controls the trim tab on the opposite side of the vessel. And this is because if you need to lower the port side bow, then the trim tab needs to lower the starboard stern to lower the opposite side of the vessel. Then if you want to lower the starboard bow, the button on the starboard side controls the port side trim tab. And just like in the previous example, to lower the starboard bow, the trim tab needs to be lowered on the port side stern of the vessel. All right, so now that you know what trim tabs are, you know how they're wired, and you understand how they work, let's go through some different scenarios to show you how you would use the trim tabs on your boat. In this example, you have the boat navigating and it's leaning to the port side. So in this situation, you would press the button on the starboard side or the right side of the boat to lower the opposite end of the bow and level out the boat. And in this example, the boat is navigating and leaning to the starboard side. So in this example, to level out the boat, you would need to lower the port side bow. So you'd press the button on the trim tab and lower the port side bow to level off the boat. Now, it's important to know that there can be a lot of things that will cause your boat to be navigating with a lean or a list to one side. Now, while weight distribution on the boat is a common reason on why the boat would be navigating with a list, it's important for you to know that the wind and the waves have a great impact on the hull of the boat, and depending on the direction that you're navigating, the wind and the waves are also going to cause your boat to navigate with a lean or a list to either the starboard or the port side. Another thing that's important for you to know is that managing and navigating with trim tabs is not a set it and forget it. So as you're navigating and the elements are changing or the direction that you're navigating in, you change your course, now the wind and the waves are going to impact your hull and your boat as it's navigating through the water in a different way. So setting your trim tabs is going to be very dependent on, as you're navigating, you might have a constant need to keep adjusting those trim tabs to keep the boat level. Now, there's another scenario where the boat will be navigating and it could be navigating and it won't be leaning to either side, but you're going to notice that if the bow is very light, the weight distribution from bow to stern is not equally distributed. And so as you're hitting waves, the boat seems like it's out of control, just going up and down, bouncing on the waves. And this is known as porpoising. Now, in this scenario, you're going to need to lower the entire bow down to give the boat a more stable and smooth ride. And this can be accomplished by lowering both trim tabs at the same time to lower the bow and stabilize the ride of the boat. All right, now you have an excellent understanding of what trim tabs are, how they're wired on the boat, and how to use them based on the navigation that you're in for your boat. The one other thing that I would tell you is that as you adjust your trim tabs, I would highly recommend that you just tap the button when you're pressing and you want to lower or raise the bow. Tap the button on the trim tab and see what it's doing every time that you tap the button. If you press the button and hold it, you're going to make a very abrupt change to the trim tab, which is going to result in a very abrupt change to the boat while you're navigating. And this could cause you from being on a slight list or lean to the starboard side to a really abrupt change to the port side. And depending on the speed that you're navigating, it could make the boat turn, which could become a very dangerous situation. So if you're going under a bridge or something like that, it can make your boat pull to one side. So as you're navigating and you tap the button, tap the button, tap the button, and you're going to start seeing a change in the boat versus a drastic change that could cause you to get into an accident. Hopefully this is going to change the way that you're navigating on the boat now that you know how to use the trim tabs on your boat. If you want to check out more helpful boating 101 tips, check out this playlist next.